Thanks to the support as a channel member, Mikey Bell. Today we're off to top of the first division Olympiakos in the Greek Cup semi-final with one mission and one mission only. Play well enough that some of their enormous fan base comes back and decides to start supporting us instead because we're only down the road. The football's quite frankly irrelevant. I don't care if we win or lose. We do need some fans though. Hello and welcome to part 6 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the first leg of that Greek Cup semi-final away against Olympiakos, which I've recently learned is apparently not in Athens. Although, looking on Google Maps, which of course I have, it might as well be. It's a 20-minute drive. I live further away from Peterborough than 20 minutes in the car, and I've said all my life I live. This is the Greek equivalent of saying I don't live in Peterborough. It's in Athens. I won't have anyone say that it's not. I've checked on the map, and I think there's plenty. There are plenty of these fans that will be willing to travel 11.6 kilometres to come and see us play if we become the big club in Athens, especially because we're actually in Athens, which makes us that little bit cooler. And then in the second part of the episode, we've got Ergotelis in the Super League 2, which, as you can see from up there, has now split in two. We haven't played any games since the split, but this is how it finished. We finished top, 22 games played, 21, 2 draws, no defeats. And we're looking pretty solid for the rest of the season. We just got to keep, even if we just keep unbeaten, I imagine drawing every game would be enough to see us promoting at this point. There's a long gap before the second leg against Olympiakos, though, so I imagine that will be in the next episode. We'll do these two today, and then that's a top of the table clash. So the next episode, which remember will be Sunday. No Greek Odyssey episodes on Saturdays, but Sunday at 11 a.m. New time slot for Sundays. Sunday 11 a.m. We'll do the second leg of this and the top of the table clash against Giannina. But for now, let's go to Olympiakos and try not to embarrass ourselves. We've gone back to our full strength team for this game, which does involve lots of old men who are going to be leaving for the league games. We are tending to play the youngsters who are going to be here next year, but I think the fact that we had so many overpowered players like Nikos, although all of a sudden he's now a leading player for League Two sides, whereas before he was showing as being a good player for the division above. Maybe losing this. There you go. He's a good player for most Super League sides, for example. These are the kind of players we're going to be missing next year. Although, looking at this, it looks like it's not actually that much of a loss. We might be all right. So we're going with Burkic in goal. Menendez, Zizopoulos, Kyrgias and Kirikidis at the back. Lagos at the base of the midfield. Halilaj has picked up an injury. In fact, it's not an injury, it's the flu. We've got a little bit of a flu outbreak going around the club at the moment, as you can see at the bottom there. Despite the fact we're in sunny Greece, everyone's got the flu or various other viruses. This doesn't bode well. It's March 2020 in game. We're not gonna acknowledge anything about what might be going on there. But Lagos at the base of the midfield, Gino and Blazic ahead of him, and then Iritia, Thomas, and Nikos are our front three. Let's get into the game. Let's hope it's just flu, and let's try and impress a packed out Georgios Karaskakis Stadium in Athens. I mean, that place doesn't even seem real. It's Athens. We looked on the map, for goodness sake. Go out there, carry on, pick up where you left off in the last game. I probably should have done the underdogs team talk that served us well with all of the Bourne FA Cup runs that we've been having in recent seasons in that series. But we've never claimed to be underdogs. Even in the two games we've played so far this season against top division clubs, we still never say we're underdogs. So I guess Olympiakos are probably a cut above all of them because they're the Super League 1 equivalent of what we've been in Super League 2. They're absolutely dominating it. But it's going to be a good indication of what next season might be like. If we can give this lot a good game, then we've got a chance of not coming straight back down again. Even though it's going to be a completely different team next year. So it's not entirely relevant. But if we can bring in players of a similar kind of quality to the ones that are leaving, or hope that the youngsters can step up to a similar kind of standard to the ones who aren't going to be here anymore, then it's got to give us a little bit of hope. And I tell you what, the fact it's still 0-0 as we approach half-time is giving me a lot more than a little bit of hope. We may not be creating very much, but neither are they. I hope they're playing a really rotated team and are taking us a little bit lightly here. That would be perfect for us. And giving away a penalty just before half-time, less perfect. Hopefully, we can pull off an unlikely penalty save, or they could just completely miss because they're not taking us seriously. That works for me too. It's 0-0 at half-time. We've had a massive let-off there. Right, we now don't have the option to do the underdog team talk. Let's give the good performance despite the odds being against us. That might be the best. That might be the best option. We've certainly not been the better team. I am pretty pleased with how things are going, but I don't want to get them overexcited. There's nothing to lose today. Go out there and give it your best shot. Can we passionately do that one? No. Let's calmly do that one then. That seems to have pleased a few of the boys. Let's see if we can... I mean, imagine if we could nick a winner at some point in this second half. We've got a player called Nikos, for goodness sake. If we're ever going to have someone nick a winner for us, surely it's him. Iritia heads it down to Nikos. What's he done there? Plays it all the way back to Lagos. It might be perfect. Nikos is in. Oh, he's offside. How is he offside? The ball travelled backwards. Do we not get a replay? How on earth? The guy was basically on the white line as he crossed that. How could it possibly have been offside? I could understand the man who originally crossed it being offside, but not Nikos. And not like this. They've gone up the other end and scored. There's 31,000 people packed into this state. It's a capacity attendance for Olympiakos. They're up for this semi-final. Only 700 people have bothered travelling the 20 minutes from our place. But then, to be fair, we've not had 700 fans turn up for our games all season long, and that's including away fans. So I guess we've turned out in numbers as well. We just don't have very many numbers. 2-0 down feels harsh. I mean, looking at the stats, it's not. But based on the shape of the game so far, it feels a little bit harsh. Do away goals count in this? If we can grab an equaliser, we're not going to, are we? Olympiakos have gone up a gear. That goal being disallowed has woken them up, and they've decided that they're probably going to score 4 or 5 now, which you would expect them to, because they're that much better than us. Thomas does very well there to win the header to try and put Nikos in, but he's not. And Olympiakos just take the ball off us and start charging forward again, although they gave us a little bit too much space to take the ball off them there, and it's Thomas with the counter-attack. Thomas has got a man on the overlap. It's Kyriakidis, the man who gave away the penalty in the first half. Cross comes into Nikos, and it's just wide. That man is destined not to score today, and it's very frustrating. Right, Iritia is going to come off. We haven't got any wide players on the bench because they're all sick. Who are you? That's the old man I just bought. You're the midfielder. I know about you. That's our young guy. Oh, the wingers are not doing anything. Do we maybe go to some kind of diamond that we've never used before, but it gets another striker on? What type of striker is he? He's a poacher. We can't really have 2 poachers. But we have got Luris, who keeps trying to tell me he's a target man. So maybe this is his opportunity to prove that he's a target man. He's going to be one of our main strikers. Arguably, will be our main striker next year. So getting him on for a game like this, he's not going to do him any harm at all. And if we then bring Cole on as well, he wants to play in there. And maybe this is going to offer us something a little bit different, a slightly different shape. Getting 2 strikers on. We're going for it a little bit here. Let's show some passion. 10 minutes of passion to finish things off. If we can grab a goal, it would be glorious. I think holding them to 2-0 is pretty good. But if we could grab ourselves a goal, that would be stupendous. Halilaj is going to come on for the last 10 minutes or so. He's not fully fit, but he is probably our best player. Certainly the best of the players who's still going to be here next year. So again, in the spirit of giving him some experience for next season, it's good to get him on there playing in front of 32,000 people. And there's a counter-attack here for Olympiakos. Kyrgias does brilliantly there with a tackle. And if someone could just nick it off him again, they've committed a lot of men forward here for a team that are 2-0 up. I'm not quite sure what they're thinking. And the bend on that shot, my word, the bend on that shot. But it looks like it's going to be 2-0. And we're going to have a big task ahead of us in the home leg. But I'm confident not confident that we're going to win, but confident we'll get a big turnout, a big attendance. If 31,000 Olympiakos fans watch that leg, I'll sell them 13,000 tickets for the away leg, and we'll have the away end. I'm not bothered. I want the money. Can't fault. Yeah, they did give it everything. I think 2-0 in the grand scheme of things is a good result. It's only our second defeat of the season. The only 2 times we've lost have been away from home against Superliga teams or Super League teams. It's not Superliga, is it? Super League teams. So we're doing all right. Roll on the second leg. But first, let's win another league game. So, back in the league, which means everyone who's agreed to leave the club has got to go, apart from Blazic, because he's really, really good, and we haven't adequately replaced him yet, so he can stick around. But we go with Burkic in goal, a back four of Menendez, Zizopoulos, Jovanovic, and Balakis. Halilaj back in the side at the base of the midfield. Gino and Blazic ahead of him. Gaitanidis and Karagounis supporting Luris up front, who's still not going to get an opportunity to start a game as a target man. I've not completely lost my mind. He will become a poacher, and I won't hear him disagree about it. On recent form, we've been very similar to Ergotelis. What? We've not lost a game in the league all year, and they're not even second. I don't think they might be second. Well, yeah, let's do that. Why not? They are second, actually. They've moved above Giannina. So I guess they have had good form in this second half of the season, because they certainly weren't up there with us when we played Giannina earlier on. So I'm now looking at this thinking maybe I shouldn't have put Luris. Maybe Nikos should be playing even though he's leaving, because Luris isn't quite there yet. But I guess games like this is how he gets there. We've won a penalty 18 minutes in. It's Gino to take. And hopefully this is going to put us 1-0 up. It's good to see we're not the only ones who have no fans at all for their league games. And there we are, 1-0 up. And that, as of now, puts us 23 points clear at the top of a league that is only a 10-game championship group. So, maths, Kev, if we win our next 3 games, we're assured promotion. Is that right? Maybe, depending on other results. Certainly, before we come back for the second leg of Olympiakos, we're likely to have had our promotion confirmed. I don't feel the need to show you that happening, because it just feels like sticking an extra episode in for the sake of it. Hopefully, you're in agreement that you want to rush straight through to the second leg and not see more relatively pointless league games when we're this far ahead. Warn against complacency. I mean, if this is the team that are our closest challengers and we've put quite a rotated team out against them, this shows you what's going to happen to everybody else when we play against them. We're going to batter them because we've battered everybody. Look at our goal difference, for goodness sake. We have a goal difference of positive 44 off of 23 games. That's the sign of a team that batters everybody. Jovanovic plays it all the way back to Burkic. I assume there's something coming from this highlight. I'm a little bit worried it's going to be us giving the ball away, but it looks like we're actually going to work the ball through and hopefully grab another goal. Gaitanidis on the left-hand side, crosses over, Blazic heads it down, Balakis is there as well to offer some support, and Halilaj is just there to clean up the mess. Lovely ball forward for Karagounis, and there's Luris, still not scored a goal for us from open play. He did score a really good free kick in the last league game of the regular season, but not yet scored from open play. I'm not worried. We're bringing Thomas on. You know what? I'm going to bring Nikos on as well, because I think he probably should have been on for the start against this lot. I'm a little bit nervous, only being 1 goal ahead. We're getting games into Luris. That's important, but he doesn't need to play every game. He just needs to play a lot of the games. Kyriakidis can come on as well for the last 10 minutes or so as we look to just grab a second goal and put the game beyond doubt. Why is there nobody getting on the end of that cross? Luckily, Blazic is there to give us another go at it, and Karagounis has a header that comes back off the crossbar. We're getting close to that all-important second goal that will just ease any tension that there might be, and also serves a little bit of a blow for Ergotelis for their promotion push, because there are 2 teams that go up from this division. The champions go up automatically, and then second place has a playoff against second bottom from the relegation group in Super League 1. So There's an interesting battle going on between Giannina Ergatelis and Larissa a little bit as well, but it's mainly going to be between these two, I think. But that brings us to the end of another victorious episode, and we'll be back. I mean, depending on which one's most interesting, I'll show you Ergatelis or Giannina and Olympiakos in the next episode, which, remember, is 11 o'clock Sunday morning. This series is 11 o'clock Sunday through to Friday. The other series, the Bourne series, 4 p.m. Monday to Saturday. So there's a little bit of overlap, but this is always in the 11 o'clock slot, just to make things less confusing. It's more confusing, isn't it? It's probably more confusing. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.